Alright guys, we have one of many EZAs today. We have my boy Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta with his Super EZA. Very much looking forward to this one. He is 100% in the potential system. Level 10 links. We're ready to go. We are 3 turns deep just because I was waiting for him to come on rotation. Right now we only have Super Saiyan and Fierce Battle active. And we are starting with a 403k attack stat, 288k defense. And we are starting the turn off with key +3, 200% attack and defense. He does gain an extra 200% attack and 100% defense as long as you do attack with 12 or more key, which is always pretty much guaranteed. I say pretty much, it is guaranteed because that's basically him super attacking. So he's always going to get that. I don't think you're ever really going to struggle with key. We do have type advantage here, so that damage reduction isn't really having to put in too much work, so I expect him to be tanking exceptionally well here, which is of course exactly what he does. 11.5, considering he just got debuffed, that's really not that bad. And I'll be completely honest, while I reckon his damage on paper is solid, the main thing I'm looking for from this Jeets is just tank. That's all I want, a slot 1 tank. So if my boy can also pull out some solid numbers, I'd be pretty happy with that as well. Like, I don't need him to do 30-40 million attack stats. I don't need anything insane from him. But as long as he can do some solid damage and then just be an out-and-out tank, I'll be completely real with you, I'm happy. Because we've needed some slot 1 units. You know, we've got one with EZA Great Ape LR Vegeta. Like, he's very good. Works really well on both Gogeta and Vegeto's team. Also another unit that really does benefit from Carnival STR SSJ3 Goku's support. Doesn't need it, but it definitely helps. So having another slot 1 unit in Super EZA Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, it's nice. It's nice. It helps out a team that doesn't have too many of them. Like, there's a handful, and if you're missing some, can cause some problems. But for 10 turns, which to be fair, judging by how the fight's gone recently, especially if you do have Vegito, Gogeta, or even just Vegito, but especially if you have both to go the Year 7 EZAs, you're never really going past turn 10. You may go 1 turn over. So Super EZA SSJ3 Vegeta having the 10 turns from entry, 150% defense, 50% chance to crit, but the most important of all, 80% damage reduction. You're going to have that pretty much from, again, what I've seen with how content have gone, even the most recent red zone stages in Blue Goku and Vegeta. Because of Vegito especially, but both Gogeta and Vegito, these fights are lasting 10 turns. They're lasting 10 turns. So if anything, you will literally on the final turn still have his 10 turn 80% damage reduction and the rest of the buffs, and you won't witness him lose it. If you do, I don't know, say you get unlucky with RNG, say you miss out on some additionals, you miss out on some crits, maybe you don't have both Vegito and Gogeta, maybe you have to fuse them early, whatever it is as to why you don't get the job done in turn 10, maybe it takes turn 11, maybe it slightly pushes on turn 12, who knows. Depends on how your units are looking, how RNG runs, those kind of things, if you have Vegito, Gogeta. Even if you hit turn 11, that will more than likely be the turn the fight ends. So even if you do tick over into turn 11 and Jeets loses that 10 turn, 150 defense, 50% chance to crit, 8% damage reduction, and you go down to the 50 he has from turn 11, as I said, that will more than likely, majority of the time, be the turn that the fight ends if you take a little bit too long, if it ticks a bit over. So even once he loses that 30% damage reduction and extra defense, you're pretty much done and dusted by then anyway. So I wouldn't ever really worry about getting to turn 11, because these teams just do too much damage. You know, if you have all of the 10th anniversary units, and including EZAs, if you have the important ones like Vegito, Gogeta, Carnival STR SSJ3 Goku with the support, which of course Vegeta is another unit that does benefit from it. So for 10 turns, we'll be having 90% damage reduction and an extra 70% defense to go with the defense and extra defense he's getting for 10 turns. But then if you also have the Year 7 EZAs, you're doing so much damage that I don't see you hardly ever losing Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta's 80% damage reduction and going into a turn 11. And again, even if you get very unlucky and you do take over, you'll more than likely be done by then anyway. So right now, Jeets does have the support, so he's up to 333k defense. And also, again, instead of 80% damage reduction, he does have 90. So currently, Jeets has almost just shy of 100% damage reduction because of Carnival LSSJ4 Goku. And the best thing is, while it is nice to have the 90% damage reduction, while it is nice to have the support, my boy Jeets doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, but you're not gonna not want it. Do you know what I mean? You're not gonna not take it. So you can have Jeets up to 90% damage reduction, which is pretty insane. Again, he's not a unit that needs Carnival LSSJ4 Goku support, but having it, definitely nice. Definitely nice. Then, if the target enemy does become stunned, which, let's be real, majority of the fights, that's not happening. You know, maybe some early phases, maybe like battle-hardened formidable foes. But when it comes to like red zone and stuff, that's not happening. Jeets will have 200% extra attack, so it's a shame we miss out on so much damage output. But again, all I want from this Jeets, I'll be real, is just a good slot 1 tank. That's exactly what he is. And he will also have a guaranteed crit as well. And then we're back to this pattern, which is when you're facing a super class enemy, he has a 50% chance of an additional super. But if you're facing an extreme class enemy, that super attack, that additional, is guaranteed. So these are versions that I prefer. I much rather prefer when there's a condition like this. And as I said, this is the trend they've been doing in the 10th anniversary, or at least when it comes to the super EZAs. Super and extreme class enemy conditional passives. If you're going to do it, I don't want it to be a condition where the unit needs that buff. The unit needs that additional. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, yes, with him having a guaranteed additional be nice. 100%. Because then you could possibly super attack 3 times in 1 turn, and 2 of them are always guaranteed. However, because he's a super EZA, his SA effect is unchanged. Like, he doesn't get any attack and defense from his SA effect whatsoever. So all you're doing is doing some extra damage. Which, let's be real, again, you guys might want some more damage from him. I just want an out-and-out slot 1 unit tank, which is exactly what he's doing. His damage is okay. It's not the best, let's be honest. But again, that's not what I'm looking for from this Jeets. So the fact that the additional is on both the super class and extreme class condition, but one of them's guaranteed, one of them is a chance, I don't mind that. If there was, like, say, stats or dodge chance locked behind one of these conditions versus guaranteed for the other, then I'd probably have an issue with it and be like, you probably want to avoid taking him in against super class enemies. You want to focus on extreme class enemies, which it looks like there's more difficult super class enemies in the game right now than there's extreme. There is a mix. However, the meaningful ones, the ones where everyone's testing units out, is extreme class. But this is the rotation I was waiting for. So, of course, we do still have our 150% defense. We do still have the 50% chance to crit. And we do have the 80% damage reduction. Let's get the Gogeta support active. We also have Carnival LSSJ4 Goku support also active. So Jeets right now is getting an extra 70% defense, extra 10% damage reduction, taking him to 90. And Gogeta support as well, taking him to a 740k attack stat, 552k defense. We have almost every single link active aside from Saiyan Warrior Race and Limit Breaking Form. That super attack is literally going to tickle Jeets' balls, and that is literally about it. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? 69 damage. I mean, that's kind of fitting because I'm talking about balls. I mean, cool. And he's up to a 21.9 million attack stat. So at least we do know that my boy Jeets can put out some numbers with the support. And there's another one for 36.5. 36.5. Actually, of course, we do have the guaranteed additional because we're facing an extreme class enemy. Although, as I said, doesn't overly need it. The 36.5, did he get that 200% attack again? Because he attacked again with 12 key. Because this man just... Oh, no. There we go. I forgot. We stunned. I'm so used to not being able to stun enemies and seal them. It's because Cell's stunned. So there you go. You've even seen the capabilities if you're able to stun while having all that Carnival LSJ4 Goku and Gogeta support. Jeets can put out numbers. Just deep it that way. If you were able to stun the hardest enemies in the game, which I can't now, it'd make them 10 times easier. So I'm kind of glad we can't. But if you could, Jeets can put out with all that support 36.5 mil of a guaranteed crit. Because he gets 200% attack, guaranteed crit if they're stunned. So just know, my boy Jeets can put out numbers. If the conditions are right, if the environment were right, if it was perfect, my boy Jeets can put out numbers while being an insanely good tank. So not only does this man have a very good 220 lead, not only does he link well with some very strong units like the 10th anniversary LRs, but then also SSJ3 GT Goku pre-transformation. He's another unit that benefits from Carnival LSJ4 Goku support, Gogeta support. We have another slot 1 tank to go on 2 of the strongest teams in the entire game, safely securing the rest of the units. And another unit that just benefits from so much support. The good thing is, he doesn't need Carnival LSJ4 Goku support, but it's nice to have. I think the one downside, if you were to nitpick him, his numbers aren't that high. He's not putting out that much damage. It's okay, especially if he crits, but he isn't doing that much damage. But personally, for me, you might think different, and you can let me know down in the comments. I just wanted an out-and-out slot tank, which is what this guy's always been, and he is once again, and he works really well at doing exactly that. As I said, if the ideal conditions were set up, if you could stun, my boy Jeets can put out some high numbers. We just saw that. But either way, you can let me know. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.